Well, things don't go according to plan for me to do all these reviews and content for all of you. But however, I couldn't miss the opportunity for this. As you know, we just had New Japan Strong with Detonation 2021, which had a very interesting opening and ending, and of course, the conclusion on who's going to go to the finals in New Japan's World Tag League. And then finally, Warrior Wrestling 17th with three championship matches and very other matches that were so awesome to watch. I had to review all of it. So, let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, let's begin with New Japan Strong with Detonation 2021. This took place on I don't remember what arena, but the opening match was a great one. We have the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham, one of the best grapplers in the world, to take on Gabriel Kidd. Now, Gabriel Kidd was a young lion who we haven't seen quite some time. Um, from what I understand, Gabriel Kidd was dealing with some personal mental dilemmas in his life. As you know, the pandemic has changed everyone. He was stuck in Japan throughout 18 months, not being able to be around his family, his loved ones, all of that. But this match kind of gave him the boost that he needed, to focus more on his wrestling. And what better way to challenge, of course, the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. Now, last time these two saw each other, um, Kidd actually wanted a match with him, and of course Gresham agreed. And I thought it was a pretty good match. There was a lot of grappling, great um, moves that they were trying to do. But however, you cannot deny Jonathan Gresham being one of those best grapplers in the world. Not to mention recently he just won the ROH World Championship, and he has that promotion with Baron Black, Terminus, which I'm excited to see. And he won with applying the Octopus grip. And of course, Kidd gave him his respects, knowing that we know we can see Kidd succeed in the future in pro wrestling, you know, but it only takes time. And we definitely can get behind that. Now, our next match is a feud between the LA Dojo Boys, the Young Lions. We had, of course, Ren Narita, the Wild Rhino Clark Connors, and the Alpha Wolf Carl Fredericks to take on United Empire, consistent of TJP, Jeff Cobb, and Will Ospreay. As you know, ever since Will Ospreay first arrived, he said bad comments about Shibata and the LA Dojo, saying that the LA Dojo will screw things up with New Japan Strong, thinking that their appearance is going to make things worse. They didn't take that lightly, and of course TJP turned his back on them, thinking that they made the right choice. But this match was so incredible. It showed the Young Lions were not willing to give up. But however, the United Empire is still too much until um, Will Ospreay was able to apply the hidden blade to win the match. But however, TJP still wants to break Clark Connors in half by breaking his knee. So this feud between the LA Dojo and the United Empire is far from over. Despite they might have lost this match, they're not going to give up that easily. Now, our main event, oh my god, this one was a good one. We had Brody King taking on the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii. Now, this is one of those matches you cannot miss. Reason I say this is because you look at Tomohiro Ishii, he's a strong guy, but he's also short. And there's the old saying, don't let the size fool you. And that's exactly what he did. He even told Brody King, give me your best shot. And that's what he did. But you cannot deny the power and the strength of Tomohiro Ishii. He's like a wild animal that you just let loose. And of course, that's exactly what happened. Someone let this wild animal loose, and he defeated Brody King. I thought it was a good match the way I see it. So I have to say this was a pretty good show. I can't wait to see what else New Japan Strong has for all of us. But for now, I'll end it right here, and I think it's time to move on to New Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag League. Okay, as you know, I mentioned I already talked about Best of the Super Juniors by New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now we got World Tag League. This is the conclusion on which tag teams are going to go to the finals this coming Wednesday. And this particular match will determine who will be the number one contenders to take on the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Dangerous Tekkers. Well, let's get to it. First match, we have Suzuki Gun consistent of Taka Michinoku and, of course, the King, Minoru Suzuki, taking on Satoshi Kojima and Hiroyoshi Tenzan. Now, if you guys know this history, Kojima is no stranger to both Suzuki and Michinoku. If you guys know this or not, before Suzuki Gun before became Suzuki Gun, it was Kojima Gun. Satoshi was the leader. Taka was part of that group until Minoru Suzuki came back and took over the faction and renamed it Suzuki Gun. So it's kind of interesting that Satoshi Kojima gets a little of the payback from what happened a couple years back between him and them, and now he did when he put the lariat on Michinoku to allow him to win the match. So basically, it's a payback long time coming. Next match we have Tiger Mask and of course Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata taking on GHB, Great Bash Shield, Tomoaki Hamna, and Makabe. It was a pretty good, decent match. However, when it comes to Makabe, you guys know he's a big gorilla that, just you just let loose. And it was Makabe who put up the victory on Tiger Mask by allowing himself to win with his finisher. I forgot what he calls it. It's the one where he jumps off and uses his leg to get to his throat. And I thought it was a pretty good ending, allowing themselves to win the match. However, I don't think they will be able to make it to the finals in a World Tag League. Next match, we got Bullet Club, Chase Owens, and Balak Fale taking on the Bad Boys, Toru Yano and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, Chase and Fale are no strangers to Yano. They even challenged him on multiple occasions for the KOPW provisional trophy. And of course, Chase Owens was the one who defeated Tanahashi in the G1. And that is one of those things. And I think this is one of those matches that was pretty good. As you know, watching Yano and Tanahashi was one of the most interesting pairings I've ever watched. And I think I enjoyed the entire time when they teamed up. And it was really fun. But it was Tanahashi that put away Chase Owens when he did the flop, and it was over right there. And I very believe that there's no way both Yano and Tanahashi could make it all the way to the finals. Next up, we got the United Empire, consistent of Aaron Henare and the Great Okan, taking on GOD, the Gorillas of Destiny, Tagaloa and Tamatanga. This match, you know for a fact that the GOD will do anything possible to win. They are one of the most consistent tag team champions in New Japan. They have won it at least 8 times, and there's no doubt in my mind they could be one of those teams that can make it to the finals. But it was Tangaloa who picked up the victory when he took out Henare. Now, this could be a little pissed off from Great Okan since he was separated, and now we see that the God will do anything to get to the finals. But I hope I highly doubt that. Our next match, we have the House of Torture, Yujiro Takahashi and Evil taking on Lij, Sanada, and Naito. Now, if you guys know this or not, there is history between these two guys, these two teams. Yujiro was once a member of Chaos, and he and Naito were part of that faction too, when they were known as No Limit, until they kicked out Naito and went on his own. And of course, we cannot forget Evil, a one-time member of the Lij until he defected last year and sided with Bullet Club. This is one of those matches where you know it's going to be a very interesting match. However, we cannot forget the spoiler, Dick Togo being on ringside. He would do anything to ensure that they win, and that's exactly what happened. They had everything under control, but the ref was nowhere to be seen until Yujiro used his cane on Sonata to allow Evil to pick up the victory. And sadly, Lij did not get the win. House of Torture did. Now, our last match, the main event, we have Chaos Yoshihashi versus Dangerous Techers. Now, these two teams are not familiar. They are familiarized with each other. Uh, Yoshihashi and Goto have challenged these titles before, but they were short. And I think the best part is they tried to take out Hiroki Goto no matter what they did. It was like their way to ensure that they don't need to challenge this DM to the finals. They even try to put him away every move they got. And you can tell by the look in their face, they're like, what do I need to do to put this guy away? Nothing. Basically, but it was Yoshihashi that picked up the victory for his team, allowing them to win. And that's where things got interesting. So what I'm referring to, let's look at the points right now. Okay. Yeah. Tanahashi and Yano have 14 points with the consistent of 7 wins and 4 losses. Makabe and Hamna GHB, they got only 4 points with 2 wins, and I think that's 9 losses. Yeah. Tenzan and Kojima, 3 wins and 8 losses, 2 points. With Nagata and Tiger with 1 win and 10 losses. Yoshihashi and Goto, they only have 9 wins and 2 losses with the total of 18 points. Yes, that's the highest. We got Lij with 3 losses and I'm assuming 7 wins. Yeah, 7 wins with 16 points. Same thing with Dangerous Techers. Suzuki Goon, 0 points. Um, God and United Empire have 14 points with 4 losses and 7 wins. Yujiro, hold on. House of Torture, they have 7 wins, no, 8 wins and 3 losses with 16 points. And then, of course, Bullet Club, uh, 6 wins and 4 losses. So basically, they got 12 points. However, this was a little bit tricky. Turns out that the winners, even though they got 3 teams had 16 points, they voted upon it was calculated, and turns out that Yoshihashi and Goto will face in the finals Evil and Yujiro. So this is going to be an interesting match. So I can't wait to see what's going to take place, but who will walk out as the winners to challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Um, that's yet to be seen. I'm looking forward to see it. I just hope Yoshihashi and Goto win this one so they can challenge Dangerous Techers for this one at Wrestle Kingdom 16. So let's keep it rolling. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to review for all of you, this is the latest event by Warrior Wrestling. This is number 17. This took place on the 12th of December. Opening match was for the Warrior Wrestling Lucha Championship between Flamita making his Warrior Wrestling debut, taking on the champion Aramis. Great high flying lucha libre style. I think it was one of the most really well received matches I've ever seen because, like I said before, I'm a fan of the lucha libre stuff growing up as a kid. And you know they will do some crazy moves. But however, it was Aramis who somehow was able to roll up the pin and retain the title. But Flamita, being Flamita, got his moment, attacked him out of the nowhere just to make a little fun statement. Next up, we have Matt Taven, as you know, and I failed to mention this. Flamita and Taven were amongst those who were in final battle in Ring of Honor. It was a sad moment, but people talked about it. Matt Taven taking on Sam Adonis. Now, the interesting is, Sam Adonis and Matt Taven have appeared both in the Mexican wrestling promotion CMLL in the past, but they never had the chance to battle each other in the past. And I think Warrior Wrestling made that kind of like the dream match that people wants to see. And I think it was a pretty good match. Seeing Taven, who we all know he had a very disappointing loss against with him and Mike Bennett to take on the Briscoes, but you can't you cannot deny Matt Taven's talent, what he can do. And I thought this match was exactly that, but it was Sam Adonis who pulled off the 450 in this match, and I think it ended with pinfall 1, 2, 3. Sam Adonis won. But at the same time, Sam Adonis checked up on Matt Taven, see if he was okay. I think he, you know, earned a lot of respect from a guy like him. Next up, we have Casey Navarro taking on the King of Sneaky Style, Rocky Romero. I have to say, what a great match. This is one of those could be a potential junior heavyweight championship style because Rocky Romero, he wants to become IWGP junior heavyweight champion again. Casey, he's in that same kind of predicament. He is one of the rising stars right now in today's wrestling, and I think he would have won the match, but it was Rocky who pulled off the armbar right in him and forced him to tap out. But he gained the respect of Rocky, showing him that he is the man, and he probably will follow him. I wouldn't be surprised if Rocky Romero recruits him to take him under his wing. So that would be nice to see. Next up, we have Carlos Romo taking on Fuego del Sol, the master of the Tornado DDT. I thought it was a pretty good match, because this is Romo's debut, and I think Fuego was like the welcoming committee. But however, when it was Fuego that picked up an amazing victory against Carlos Ramos, even though, excuse me, fans were the ones that gained that Carlos Ramos is one of those wrestlers you definitely need to pay attention to. Carlos Ramos, he's not originally from the state; he's originally from Spain, and I'm excited for that to happen. Hopefully, he'll come back again, and we'll get to see him more. Next up, we had a four-way match. We have Gringo Loco, Billy Starks, Axel Rico, and Chicago's very own Sky Blue. This match, this is one of those good. Rico is the kind of guy who will not tolerate women being in the ring with him, saying they're stealing his spotlight. But it was Sky Blue who picked up that spotlight and pinned him. And he was livid. He couldn't believe that that happened. I think it tells us we could see a possible feud between these two down the line. I mean, it would be one of those feuds we definitely got to enjoy. Now, our next match, we have Dante Martin versus Joey Janela. Now, originally we were supposed to have Bandito in this match, but due to the fact that he contracted COVID-19. He was unable to appear, but they had no other choice but to replace him with Joey Janela. It was a pretty good match. I think what I liked about this one is that we associate Joey Janela as one of the death match wrestlers, and he wanted to prove that he can hang with guys like Dante Martin or anybody that are not into the death match setup. And I think it showed us that he can actually do it. But however, you cannot deny the athletic ability of Dante Martin, and that's exactly what he did. He actually won the match. It was really good. I enjoyed it the most. Now, before we get to the next title match, the entire show was hijacked by Frank the Clown. Yeah, the guy they don't like. He demanded that they give him what he wants: a shot of the title to reinstate him back into the roster of Warrior Wrestling. So basically, the bosses had no other choice because they need to keep the show moving. And basically, Frank the Clown decided to take matters in his own hands. But he got what he wanted. But I highly doubt that, since he wants a shot of the Warrior Wrestling Championship, I highly doubt he's going to win it against the Commonwealth Kingpin. Or should I say? Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert on that. But but yeah. Now, this match is for the Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship. Man, this was a good match. I think this is one of those where we have sort of like a generational matchup. You have Mercedes Martinez, who is the self-proclaimed original badass, and she was one of the few leaders that kind of helped pave the way a little bit of the women's division, women's wrestling around. But you cannot deny Thunder Rosa, who's the current champion, is that person that stepped up into that world and made it popular to what it is. Fought, believe in women's wrestling and all that. I thought it was a good match. I really, really enjoyed it. But it was Thunder Rosa who picked up the victory, retaining the title. It was really good. I can't believe I enjoyed it. It was fun. But the real question is, who will be the next challenger? I don't know. Now, our main event is for the Warrior Wrestling Championship in a three-way. We have the return of Blake Christian, who we haven't seen since he signed with WWE, and then there's Will Ospreay versus the champion Trey Miguel. Now, anything could happen in this one, but however, I had a feeling that this match was going to end where Ospreay was going to pin Blake Christian, because he doesn't need to pin Trey Miguel, and that's exactly what happened. He used the hidden blade on him, allowing himself to win the match. But however, after the match, he says that he will not defend the title for quite some time. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's wrestlers out there saying that Ospreay is not a champion, that he is trying to hold that title long, because right now he's kind of livid to challenge against Okada. He wants to destroy him, but we'll see what happens down the line. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed me reviewing these wrestling shows. For me, I wasn't planning on. I didn't think I was gonna do New Japan, the Strong. Um, Thought I was gonna wait a couple of days, but nope. Uh, and I forgot literally about Warrior Wrestling. I literally did forget about it, but I got the chance to see it. Things didn't go according to plan for me, but hopefully tomorrow, the next one, I do. I was considering reviewing two past events from two different Yoshi promotions, one from Stardom, one from Sendai Girls, and then of course the recent Game Changer event, So Alive. And then finally, we cannot forget AEW Dark Elevation. So that's coming up. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day.